What if the exhaustion you feel every single morning, the brain fog that makes you forget where you put your keys, the mood swings that come out of nowhere and feel completely out of your control, what if none of that is just stress or just aging? What if your body has been sending you a distress signal for months and no one told you what it meant? I'm Dr. James Andrews. For over 2 decades, I've studied the relationship between hormonal decline and long-term health outcomes in women over 40. And what I'm about to share with you today is something I wish every woman knew before her first appointment with a doctor who simply says, "This is normal for your age." A landmark 2023 study published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism followed over 1,000 women between the ages of 40 and 65 across 8 countries. The findings were striking. More than 74% of women experiencing significant estrogen decline showed at least 3 of the 5 warning signs. I'm going to walk you through today, and most of them had been living with these symptoms for an average of 2 years before receiving any kind of diagnosis. 2 years. That's 2 years of a body quietly breaking down while being told everything is fine. Here's what makes estrogen decline so dangerous. It doesn't announce itself loudly. It doesn't come with a single dramatic symptom that sends you straight to the doctor. Instead, it creeps in slowly. One uncomfortable night here, one foggy morning there, a little more irritability than usual, a little more fatigue than you can explain. And because each symptom on its own seems manageable, seems like something you can push through, millions of women do exactly that. They push through. They blame their schedule, their diet, their stress levels, their age. They normalize something that should never be normalized. Because here's what the research actually shows. Estrogen doesn't just regulate your menstrual cycle. It protects your brain. It maintains your cardiovascular health. It keeps your bones dense, your joints mobile, your skin elastic, your sleep deep. When estrogen starts to crash, it doesn't just affect how you feel today. It affects the trajectory of your health for the next 20 years. I'm going to walk you through 5 signs that your estrogen is crashing right now. Stay with me until sign number 3, because that is the one most women completely dismiss until serious damage has already been done. And at the end of this video, I'll tell you exactly what you should be asking your doctor at your next appointment. Sign number 1, your sleep is falling apart and you don't know why. Not just trouble falling asleep. I mean, waking up at 2 or 3 inches in the morning, completely alert, heart racing, slightly unable to get back to sleep no matter how tired you are, or falling asleep easily but waking up feeling like you never slept at all. Here's what's happening inside your body. Estrogen plays a direct role in regulating the neurotransmitter serotonin, which your brain converts into melatonin, the hormone that controls your sleep-wake cycle. When estrogen drops, serotonin production becomes erratic. Your brain loses its ability to smoothly transition through sleep stages. You spend less time in deep restorative sleep. You wake more frequently. And crucially, you produce less growth hormone during the night, which means your body is doing less repair, less cellular restoration, less metabolic reset with every passing night. A 2022 study from Stanford University's Sleep Medicine Center found that women with low estrogen levels had a 62% higher rate of sleep fragmentation compared to women with normal levels, even when controlling for stress, caffeine intake, and age. This is not insomnia. This is hormonal. And treating it like insomnia with sleep hygiene tips or melatonin supplements misses the root cause entirely. If you have been waking between 2 and 4 a.m. more than 3 times a week for the past month, write that down. Note the frequency. Note the pattern. This data matters. Sign number 2, your skin and hair are changing faster than they should. You look in the mirror and something is different. Your skin looks thinner, drier, less firm than it was even 6 months ago. Fine lines that weren't there before. Hair that comes out in larger amounts when you brush it. Hair that feels thinner, more brittle, less full. Most women attribute this to stress or diet, and yes, both of those play a role. But when these changes happen rapidly, when they feel sudden rather than gradual, estrogen is almost always the primary driver. Estrogen stimulates collagen production. Collagen is the structural protein that keeps your skin firm, elastic, and thick. According to research published in the British Journal of Dermatology, women lose approximately 30% of their skin collagen in the first 5 years following the onset of estrogen decline. 30% in 5 years. After that, the rate slows, but it never stops. Estrogen also plays a role in the hair growth cycle. It keeps hair in the growth phase longer. As estrogen drops, hair follicles spend more time in the resting and shedding phases, which leads to the noticeable thinning and increased shedding many women experience. If you are seeing significant changes in your skin texture or hair density, changes that feel accelerated, changes that makeup and good lighting can no longer hide, this is your body communicating a drop in estrogen, not aging. Estrogen decline. There is a difference, and that difference matters because one of them is addressable. Sign number 3, and this is the one I need you to pay very close attention to: brain fog, memory lapses, and a cognitive decline that feels like it's happening too fast. I call this the silent sign, because when a woman forgets where she put her phone, she laughs it off. When she loses her train of thought mid-sentence, she blames being busy. When she walks into a room and can't remember why, she chalks it up to multitasking. Our culture has normalized cognitive slippage in women over 40 to such a degree that women dismiss it completely until the slippage becomes something they can no longer ignore. Here is what is actually happening. Your brain is packed with estrogen receptors. Estrogen is not just a reproductive hormone. It is a neuroprotective hormone. It supports the growth and maintenance of neurons, enhances synaptic plasticity, reduces neuroinflammation, and plays a direct role in the production of acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter most critical for memory and learning. When estrogen drops, the brain notices immediately. Blood flow to the hippocampus, the brain's memory center, decreases. The brain's ability to use glucose as fuel becomes less efficient. Neuroinflammation increases, and the brain begins to undergo structural changes that, if left unaddressed over years, significantly raise the risk of cognitive decline later in life. This is not a minor inconvenience. A 2024 study from the University of Southern California's Keck School of Medicine found that women who experienced prolonged low estrogen levels in their 40S and 50S without any form of intervention showed measurable reductions in hippocampal volume on MRI scans within 3 to 5 years. These are not women with Alzheimer's diagnoses. These are women who describe themselves as a little more forgetful than usual. Dr. Lisa Mosconi, one of the world's leading neuroscientists studying female brain health, has called estrogen decline the most under-recognized risk factor for Alzheimer's disease in women. Women make up nearly 2/3 of all Alzheimer's cases globally. The timing of that disease risk correlates directly with the timing of estrogen decline. That is not a coincidence. So if you are experiencing brain fog, that affects your ability to concentrate at work. If you are forgetting conversations, appointments, words that used to come easily, if you feel like your mind is working through a layer of static that wasn't there 2 years ago, do not laugh it off. Do not normalize it. This is sign number 3. This is the one that matters most. And the research is very clear that the window for intervention is real. What you do now affects your brain health in your 70S and 80S. Before I get to signs 4 and 5, I want to pause here for a moment because I know some of you are watching this and recognizing yourself in what I've just described. You're connecting dots that maybe no one has helped you connect before. A doctor who said your labs are normal. A partner who said you just need more sleep. A culture that told you this is just what getting older feels like. I want you to understand something. The fact that these experiences are common does not mean they are acceptable. Common and normal are not the same thing. Millions of women are navigating estrogen decline without the information they need to protect their health. That is a failure of the medical system, not a failure of your body. The reason I make these videos is because I believe every woman deserves to understand what is happening inside her own biology. Knowledge is the first step. And what comes after knowledge, the conversations you have with your doctor, the choices you make about your health, that is where things actually change. Let's continue. Signs 4 and 5. Sign number 4, unexplained weight gain, especially around your midsection. You haven't changed what you eat, you haven't changed how much you move, but the weight is accumulating anyway, and it is concentrating in a place it never did before, around your waist, around your abdomen, in a way that feels stubborn and unresponsive to everything you try. This is metabolic disruption driven by estrogen decline. Here is the mechanism. Estrogen plays a key role in regulating where your body stores fat. When estrogen levels are healthy, fat tends to be distributed peripherally, hips, thighs, buttocks. When estrogen drops, the body shifts its fat storage pattern toward the visceral, the deep abdominal fat that wraps around your organs. Visceral fat is not just a cosmetic concern. It is metabolically active tissue that secretes inflammatory compounds, disrupts insulin sensitivity, elevates cortisol, and significantly increases the risk of cardiovascular disease and type 2 diabetes. Additionally, estrogen decline affects your resting metabolic rate. A 2021 study in Obesity Reviews found that women in perimenopause experienced an average decrease in resting metabolic rate of 8 to 10%, meaning their bodies were burning fewer calories at rest, even without any change in activity level or food intake. If you are gaining weight in your midsection without explanation, if diet and exercise changes that used to work no longer work the same way, this is not a willpower problem. This is a hormonal problem, and it deserves to be treated as one. Sign number 5, anxiety, irritability, and emotional shifts that feel completely out of character. You have always been calm under pressure. You have always been someone who handles stress well. And then suddenly you are snapping at people you love. You are waking up with a sense of dread you cannot explain. You are feeling overwhelmed by situations that never used to affect you. And the most frightening part, you feel like yourself one day and completely unlike yourself the next. This is not a psychological weakness. This is neurochemistry. Estrogen has a profound effect on the brain's limbic system, the emotional processing center. It modulates the activity of gamma-aminobutyric acid, or GABA, which is your brain's primary calming neurotransmitter. It influences the responsiveness of serotonin receptors. It affects how your amygdala, your brain's threat detection center, processes and responds to stress signals. When estrogen is dropping, these systems become dysregulated. The threshold for your stress response lowers. Your amygdala becomes hyperreactive. Your GABA activity decreases, leaving your nervous system with less of its natural calming mechanism. The result is a nervous system that is genuinely more reactive, genuinely more sensitive, genuinely more prone to anxiety, not because anything is wrong with you psychologically, but because the hormonal environment that kept these systems in balance is shifting. A 2023 meta-analysis published in Psychoneuroendocrinology reviewed 47 independent studies and found that women in perimenopause had a 2.5 times higher risk of experiencing clinically significant anxiety symptoms compared to premenopausal women at the same age. This is a biological vulnerability, and it is almost never framed that way. So let's bring these 5 signs together. Disrupted sleep that leaves you exhausted no matter how long you rest. Rapid changes in your skin and hair that feel premature and accelerated. Brain fog and memory lapses that you have been dismissing for months or years. Unexplained abdominal weight gain that does not respond to the things that used to work. And emotional and anxiety shifts that feel out of character and out of your control. If you recognize 2 or more of these signs, especially if they have appeared or intensified in the last 1 to 3 years, your estrogen may be crashing, and that deserves a real conversation with a doctor who takes it seriously. Here is what I want you to do before your next appointment. Write down your symptoms. Be specific. How long have you been experiencing them? How frequently? How severely? On a scale of 1 to 10, bring that list. Ask specifically for a full hormonal panel, not just TSH for thyroid, but estradiol, FSH progesterone, and DHEAS. Ask about your options. Ask about the current research on hormonal support. Ask questions until you feel heard. Because here is the truth that the research supports and that I want you to carry with you after this video. Estrogen decline is not something you simply endure. It is something you manage. And the women who manage it well, who get informed early, who ask the right questions, who work with doctors, who take their symptoms seriously, those women protect their brains, their hearts, their bones, and their quality of life in ways that matter enormously for the decades ahead. If this video helped you connect dots that needed connecting, please subscribe to this channel. I publish a new video every single day on hormonal health, longevity, and the science your doctor may not have time to explain in a 15-minute appointment. Drop a comment below with your age and which of these 5 signs resonates most with you. I read every comment on this channel. Your experience matters, and you may help another woman who is reading the comments and wondering if she is alone in what she is feeling. The link in the description gives you access to my free guide, the 7-Day Hormonal Reset Protocol, a research-backed framework for supporting estrogen balance through nutrition, sleep, and daily habits. No supplements to buy, no products to sell, just the science organized in a way you can actually use. And if you want to go deeper on brain health and hormones, specifically watch the video on screen right now. It covers what new research from 2024 says about protecting your brain during perimenopause and the one daily habit that makes the biggest difference. I'll see you there.